also going to, you should also know about like what is the differences between the OLTP and OLAP. So these are the two basic prerequisites in order to go ahead with the business objects. So first of all, if you have a certain knowledge about this, okay, you can easily understand the technical, okay, the technical things in the business objects. Okay, so first of all, let's go with a simple example. Like here is one scenario where in your organization, if you are working in an organization and your organization has been established, okay, in various geographical locations like in New York, California, Florida, or Dallas. Okay, so like this, you are having four different branches in four different geographical locations. So each geographical location has its own database. So whatever the data which is available would be stored in that particular, okay, heterogeneous databases in that geographical location. So whatever the data is, for example, see, your organization is a product based organization. Okay, so whatever the means like your database would be storing like, okay, what are the products have been sold, okay, for a particular year. So like this, like this, the data will be stored in each of these particular heterogeneous databases. So the database which is in the New York would be storing some sort of data, California would be storing some sort of data, Florida would be storing some sort of data, Dallas would be storing some sort of data. So like this, all the data would be maintained at different geographical locations, okay, with a different databases. Like whatever the database which is maintained in the New York, okay, could be like a SQL database. Whatever the database which is in California could be a Teradata. Whatever the database which is in Florida can be DB2. Whatever the database which is in the Dallas, okay, could be the could be Access database. So like this, we are having different databases established in different geographical locations which is having different operational systems. Okay, operational databases are available. Now, as a sales manager, okay, I want to make a report which is consisting of the product based report, okay, which is having the sales of a particular product per year, per quarter, per city. Means I want to just check it out, okay, what is an sales of my particular product, okay, per a certain city for 2013 year for quarter 1. So like this, if I want to have some report to be generated, okay, at that particular time, the report generation with such kind of heterogeneous databases would be difficult. Okay, so what are the issues which would be coming up with these kind of databases is like, the first issue will be like this. Okay, so as I need to get the data from the various databases, so I need to establish a connection to the various databases which are remotely located. So there might be a issue in the there might be issue in the connection, okay, by which okay, there might be low performance. Okay, the issues will be like this, where you would be having the connectivity issues, it might be there, or the performance issues, it might be there. Why? Because you are connecting to the databases which are in the remote locations. Okay, so as you are connecting to the remote locations and you are trying to get the data from the various databases, there might be the performance issues or the connectivity issues which is going on, by which you cannot get the appropriate report what you're actually looking for. Okay, so this might be a issue. So in order to resolve this issue, okay, this is a common issue which goes on in every organization in day-to-day life. Okay, so in order to resolve this particular issue, okay, what we are going to do is, okay, we are going to extract, okay, the data which is in the different, okay, heterogeneous databases. I'm going to extract the data, and finally I want to put the data at one particular site. Okay, that's what we are doing. Means what according to my report requirement. Okay, according to the report requirement, whatever the data I require, as I'm looking into the sales report, so I want the sales information. So whatever the sales information which is stored in all these particular databases, I extract the only the sales information from them and put them into one particular common repository and store them at one site. This site is what called as a data warehouse. Okay, the data warehouse is nothing but, okay, it's a site where all the relevant data would be stored at one particular place. Okay, that is what called as data warehouse. The data warehouse also can be the database. Okay, the data warehouse is nothing but the database. It can be the SQL database, it can be the Teradata, it can be the Access database. So whatever may be the database, okay, it is storing the data which you get from the different heterogeneous databases into one particular site. Okay, that is what called as a data warehouse. Okay, so now once I put the data in the data warehouse, so what happens is I can generate the report very easily. Okay, how could I generate very easily? Means, see, instead of getting the data from the various databases, okay, there might be the connection issues. So now at this particular point, once the data warehouse is made, there is no connection issues. So obviously whatever the data is available in all these particular database would be coming into the data warehouse. So with that particular data which is in the data warehouse, I can generate the report very easily. So the end users also would be very much, they also feel comfortable to get the data and to generate the reports very easily. Okay, why? Because there is no need of getting the data from various databases. Your data is almost available at the data warehouse. Okay, so that is a solution, okay, for the issue which we have come across in a organization. Okay, this issue would be there in almost all the organizations. So the best solution is like go for the data warehouse. Okay, so any doubts still here? You can just ping me in the chat box if you have any doubts. No, thank you. Okay, so now the next thing is like what are the importance of this particular database? The first thing is like the database would be storing the data, okay, in a meaningful way, in a consolidated way, okay, in well organized way, in a meaningful way it would be storing the data. Okay, so that that particular data can be used for the further analysis. Either it could be used for the reporting, either it could be used for the analysis, either it could be used for the data mining also. Okay, so such kind of cleansed data would be there in the data warehouse. Okay, so now let's go into the definition of this particular database. Okay, so this is a usage of the data warehouse. Like extract means whatever the data I put in the data warehouse, I won't get all the data from the databases. Means according to my requirement, I get the only that particular data would be bought from each and every database and put them at one particular place. Okay, that is what called as data warehouse. Yeah, tell me, Roy. Yeah, you can ask your question. Roy, you can ask your question. You can just type it there. Yeah, it's like historical data. You can see here, warehouse consists of the historical data, whereas the databases would be consisting of the current data. That current data would be the historical data for the data warehouse. Okay, see, I have already written here. I'm just coming to that point. Okay, see, basically the data warehouse, okay, whatever the data which is consisting in the data warehouse, that could be in such a, that would be in such a way like it can be used for the analysis. The next one is like whatever the data is there, it would be refreshed in the regular intervals. Okay, it would be refreshed in the regular intervals, okay, up to date. Okay, further data analysis. Next one is like it would be consisting of the historical data, either the 6 months data, 12 months data, 8 months data, 1 year, 2 years, 6 years, 10 years data also would be there in this particular data warehouse. Okay, I'll tell you a simple example, okay, with this respect. For example, you have gone to a pizza house. Okay, I'm telling like how the data would be updated in the data warehouse. I'm just speaking about that particular by taking a scenario. You have gone to a pizza house. Okay, as you are going to pizza house, you would be ordering a pizza, or a simple example I'll tell you. No need for a pizza house. Let's go for the shopping. Okay, you go for a supermarket shop. Okay, and near the counter, okay, so the person would be generating the bill. Okay, so he is trying to enter the data into the databases. Okay, by reading the barcodes, he is just entering the data into the into his databases. At the same time, if the owner of that particular market want to see see the report consisting of okay, today's sales. Okay, so at that time means both of them are simultaneous, means the person who is um, at the counter, he tries to insert the data. At the same time, the manager wants to retrieve the data in the form of a report. So at this particular situation, okay, the database is having much more effect. Why? Because okay, the person who is standing here is trying to enter the data and the other person is trying to extract the data. So as both the functions are simultaneously applicable on the database at that particular time, okay, so at that particular time, that particular situation could not be handled by the databases. Okay, in that situation, either the manager has to wait for some time, or the person who is making the bill has to wait for some time. Okay, so this is a situation what happens with the databases. Okay, why? Because their databases needs much time to get updated. Okay, and the synchronous calls cannot be answered properly by the databases. But this is not the situation with the data warehouse. Okay, so in the data warehouse, what happens is like once the data has been entered into the databases, the required information would be brought into data warehouse. So the person, the manager who wants a report can access this particular data warehouse rather than accessing the databases. So by which he can get his report requirement. Okay, so by which what happens is if the calls are synchronous also, okay, no person has to wait here. Okay, either the person who is at the counter or either the manager, no need to wait. Okay, they can make the call simultaneously. Okay, he can insert the data and he can extract the data simultaneously. Okay, so this is one of the example or one of the scenario where your data warehouse okay would be helpful. Okay, so it is helping us to maintain the data like a meaningful data, a consolidated data, a well organized data, and also the updates are regular. Okay, like whenever you put an update, either most of the updates would be at the nights. Okay, at the night the update would be done, and finally in the early morning the person can come and he can extract the data. Okay, so like this, it also consists of the historical data, which is like for many years also. Like databases would not be consisting of data more than 6 months, but the data warehouse would be consisting of your data for the many years also. Okay, so such kind of advantages are with the data warehouse. Okay, so now we are going to see like okay, what is actually the data warehouse? A data warehouse is an subject-oriented, integrated, time variant, non-volatile collection of a data. Roy, you have asked me, okay, does it consist of a real time or the historical data? This is what. So it consists of the non-volatile collection of the data. Means it consists of all the data which is not volatile, which cannot be evaporated or which cannot be gone anywhere. For years it would be storing the data in the data warehouse. So in this, the subject oriented, okay, I'll just go through each and everything here. The subject oriented. So what do you mean by subject oriented here? Subject oriented means, I already said you, like the data warehouse would be consisting of the relevant data according to our requirement. For example, I want a sales data, so data warehouse will be consisting of a sales data, okay, or it consists of any product based data, so like that. Okay, the data warehouse would be consisting of a different data according to the report requirement or according to the user requirement. Whatever the data, actually the data where whatever the user needs, that data can be brought into the data warehouse, and that would be stored in a meaningful way. Means all the sales data at one place, all the material data at one place, all the the raw data at one particular place, all the master data at one place. So like this, okay, you can store the data in different sources. Okay, those particular things are called as a data sources. And the next one is like integrated. Integrated in the sense, see, when you are getting a data, take this example here. Okay, you are not getting a data from one particular database, you are getting a data from the various databases over here. Okay, that is what called as an integrated. Okay, so your data warehouse would be consisting of the data which you get from different data sources, not one particular database. It will be getting data from various data sources. So that's why we call it as an integrated. And next one is like time variant. Okay, what do you mean by time variant over here? It consists of the data for many years. Okay, like not the data for 1 year or 6 months. It consists of the data for many years. Data would be available in the data warehouse. So according to the time, you can extract the data. For example, in 2013 I want to go for the 2011 sales. Yes, the data would be available. I want to select 2005 sales data. Yes, the data would be available. I want to select 2001 data. Yes, the data is available. So like this, okay, according to the time, with the time variant, I can extract the data from the data warehouse. Okay, next one is, it consists of a non-volatile collection of a data. What do you mean by non-volatile? The data will not go anywhere. Okay, it would be stored in the data warehouse for years together. Okay, so that is what the meaning of data warehouse is. A data warehouse is a subject-oriented, integrated, time-variant, non-volatile collection of a data. Okay. Now, you may be getting a doubt like, okay, how this particular, what is an architecture of this particular data warehouse, okay, and how the data would be stored in the data warehouse. Okay, so let's go and see in depth about the data warehouse architecture. So this is an data warehouse architecture. So I was telling you like, okay, I want to get the data from the various databases. Like here I am having 4 databases are available. That is operational system, ERP system, CRM system, and the flat files. Okay, so these are the 4 different databases which are available for us, or you can call them as a data sources which are available for us. Now, I want to extract the relevant data from these particular databases and put them into data warehouse. So here, which particular tool would be helping us to extract the data from these particular databases and put the data into the data warehouse in a meaningful way? So that particular tool is what called as an ETL tool. ETL is nothing but ETL, the full form of the ETL is extract, transform, and load. So whatever the relevant data you require, that particular data would be extracted, transformed, and loaded into the data warehouse in a meaningful way. So while loading the data into the data warehouse, there can be applied some sort of aggregations, there can be applied some sort of calculations can be applied, so there can be some sort of conditions can be applied. So all these things could be applied in the at this particular ETL part. So the ETL tool is a tool which would be extracting the data, transform the data and load the data into the data warehouse. So once the data comes into data warehouse, that could be used for the analysis, reporting and the mining purpose also. Okay, so this is the architecture of the data warehouse. So now, any questions still here? Guys, do you have any questions still here? Yeah, someone said yes. Yeah, go ahead, Roy. Of course, exactly. Good question. See, like your databases would be small, but not your data warehouse. Data warehouse is very huge. So as you said, like, okay, it can be some terabytes. Okay, so like your database would be like 100 GB or something like that, or MB something, but the data warehouse would be in the terabytes. Okay, so there is no problem for that particular. Okay, it could be like in the terabytes. The thing is very huge. Okay, what you call the data warehouse is very huge actually. Okay, yeah, it holds enough data. Why? Because I'm telling you, like, it can hold the data for years together. Okay, for years together, like 6 years, 10 years, okay, 20 years, like that. So obviously the data warehouse would be huge than when compared to the databases. Exactly. Okay, good question, by the way. Okay, so yeah, exactly. Bring all data or selective data. See, subject oriented in the sense I already said you, like, see, for example, I want the sales information. Okay, so only see here you can see like the data is stored in a like metadata at one place, raw data at one place, summary data at one place. Okay, so like that. Example, can it have the sales data along with the productivity data? Yeah, of course it can be. See, the thing is like what subject oriented in the sense that whatever the report requirement is there, it gets that kind of data and puts it into data warehouse. Like all the sales data would be at one particular place, all the product data would be at one particular place. So if you want like sales data, means obviously there is an the products data would be available in that, the customer data at one place, material data at one place. So like this, okay, the data would be available at different locations. Okay, different locations. Okay, so these basic things are called as data sets or the data marts. Okay, these can be called as okay, which would be holding the relevant data. Okay, so now the next one is like, okay, here in the data warehouse, the data would be available in the form of the tables. So what are the tables here? There are two types of tables. The first one is the dimensional table. The second one is the fact table. Okay, so what are these particular dimensional tables? Dimensional tables would be consisting of all the primary keys to the fact tables and all the descriptive data. Descriptive data is nothing but the master data. The dimensional table would be consisting of all the master data. Take example of a customer details table. So all the customer details table is a dimensional data. Why? Because it can be consisting of like customer ID, customer name, okay, like and customer address, customer date of opening the account. So all these things would be in that particular table. So such kind of table which is descriptive or textual, okay, which will be giving us some master data, that is what called as a dimensional table. Those are called as dimensional tables. Each dimensional table would be having a primary key. Okay, primary key is nothing but a unique key in order to identify the data. Take an example of a student ID, customer account number, product ID, serial number. All these things would be the primary keys by which you can identify, like by which you can identify the things, like it gives a uniqueness. Okay, take an example of customer account number. Customer account number is unique, okay, rather than the customer name. Customer name can be the duplicate, okay, there may be the duplicate entries, but the customer account number is unique. So that's why I call the customer account number as a primary key. Okay, so each and every table, each and every dimensional table would be having the primary keys. Okay, and the dimensional table would be consisting of the descriptive data, that is like master data. Okay, see, take an example of, okay, I'm having some bunch of tables over here. You can see here the time. Okay, so this is one kind of dimensional table. This is an item. This is one kind of dimensional table. The location, this is one kind of dimensional table. Okay, with the primary keys as item key, location key, okay, time key, branch key. Okay, these are all the primary keys, okay, which are related to the fact tables, okay. So these are all the dimensional tables. These are all the dimensional tables. Okay, if you could see, that would be giving us okay, the descriptive data or the master data would be given by these particular dimensional tables. Next, the second one is a fact table. Okay, a fact table would be like which gives us the transactional data, okay, which gives us the information about the transactional data. And with this particular transactional data, I can apply the aggregations and the calculations. So such kind of a table is what called as a fact table. Okay, the fact table would be consisting of a foreign key to the dimensional table, and also it would be consisting of the numerical facts. It would be consisting of the numerical facts. Okay, so what are the numerical facts? Numerical facts are nothing but the key figures. These are the measures, okay, that could be calculated, aggregated. So such kind of things are called as numerical facts. Those would be in this table here. Okay, take an example of this: units sold, okay, dollars sold, average sales. All these are the measures. Okay, all these are the measurable values which could be measured, which can be aggregated or calculated. So such kind of measures would be maintained in the table called as a fact table. Okay, so there are basically, I'll just try to revise again. There are two types of tables. The first one is a dimensional table, which is consisting of the primary key to the fact table and the descriptive columns. Okay, so that would be telling us about the data, master data. So those type of tables are called as dimensional tables. The second one is a fact table. A fact table would be consisting of foreign keys, okay, to the dimensional tables, and it would be consisting of the measures also. Various measures would be there in the fact table. Like here, take an example of units sold, dollars sold, average sales. All these things are the measures. So these measures can be aggregated, calculated, okay, by using certain functions called as sum, count, minimum, maximum. Such kind of functions can be used on these particular columns over here. Okay, so this is what called as a fact table. Okay, so any doubts in this fact tables and the dimensional tables? Yeah, example of a store. So take an example of store. Store name, store location. Okay, store name, store location. Okay, next one is like the store timings. Okay, and store manager. Okay, and all these things will be coming under the dimensions. Okay, and coming to the store, the what you call like what store would be consisting of all of different products, all comes under the dimensions. Whereas coming to the fact, okay, coming to the fact, you can say like the revenue generated in that particular store, okay, and the number of products have been sold in that particular store. So all these would be coming under the facts, that is the measures. Okay, the quantity sold, the products quantity sold, okay, and the revenue generated. So all this would be coming under the measures. Okay, that is what the fact table, that is what called as a fact table. Means the fact table would be consisting of the columns which are the foreign keys for the dimensions and the various measures, the transactional data, day-to-day transactional data would be there in the fact table, like revenue generated per this hour, revenue generated per this particular what you call it day. All these things would be coming under the measures. Okay, number of products sold, okay, number of customers came to into the store. So all these things would be coming under the facts. Okay, whereas the entire store details, okay, which would be describing that particular store would be coming under the dimensional tables. Okay, so this is what called as a fact tables and the dimensional tables. Okay, Roy, did you understand? Okay, okay, fine. Okay, so here all these particular tables, okay, whatever the fact tables are there, dimensional tables are there. So these particular fact tables and these particular fact tables and the dimensional tables, okay, would be joined together, okay, following a certain architecture. Okay, this architecture is what called as a schema. This architecture is what called as a schema. There are three schemas available in our data warehouse. Means how these particular tables would be joined to the other tables, okay, that is set by these particular architectures here. That is, we are having the first one is star schema, next one is snowflake schema, third one is fact constellation schema. These are the three schemas which are available. Mostly we are going with the star schema all the time. Okay, so how the star schema would be available? So how the star schema is made, that we are going to see in the next slide. So this is how the star schema is made. The fact table in the middle, surrounded by the various dimensional tables, okay, is what called as an star schema. Okay, the fact table surrounded by the various dimensional tables, okay, is what called as a star schema. Okay, so the star schema is nothing but it's just an architecture how the tables would be joined. See, after you get the tables into the from the data warehouse, so how to join these particular relevant tables, so you have to follow certain architecture. So here we are following certain architectures are there, those are nothing but the schemas, and here we are looking into a star schema, which is a most important one. Okay, so what is a star schema? A star schema is nothing but a fact table surrounded by the various dimensional tables is what called as a star schema. Okay, so why do we go with the star schema all the time? Why? Because it has a simple structure, like only one layer, like fact table surrounded by the various dimensions, that's all. So it is very easy to understand, it's a simple structure, and the number of tables would be less, number of joins would be less. Okay, and also large this particular star schema is supported by the large number of business intelligence tools. So all the tools, okay, whatever we are using will be supporting mostly this particular star schema. So that's why we are going for the star schema. Whereas we are having something called as snowflake schema. Snowflake schema is nothing but the fact table would be in the middle, surrounded by the dimensional tables, and each dimensional tables are again surrounded by few dimensional tables. Only one fact table would be there. One fact table. The snowflake schema is like this. Fact table surrounded by the various dimensional tables, and each dimensional table is again surrounded or again joined to the other dimensional tables. This is what called as a snowflake schema. Okay, it's called as snowflake schema. Okay, got my point, everyone? Snowflake schema is nothing but fact table surrounded by the of course, only one fact table in both the schemas. Okay, yeah, the fact table surrounded by the dimensional tables, and these dimensional tables in turn surrounded by the various other dimensional tables or joined to other dimensional tables is what called as a snowflake schema. Okay, next one is like a fact constellation schema. So what do you mean by fact constellation schema? Here in this particular schema I am using more than one particular fact table. Okay, the fact tables, either it may be like more than one fact table can be used here, surrounded by the various dimensional table is called as a fact constellation schema. Okay. See here, okay. Okay, so here into dimension to dimension means take an example of let's take it as a sales fact table over here. Okay, a simple example like sales fact table would be there. Okay, that would be surrounded by the the customer table. Okay, next one would be the the time table. Okay, and the next one would be here the sales is a fact table. Okay, next one here, one second, could be the product. Okay, so like this, and again these products are in turn connected to some other dimensional tables. Okay, some other dimensional tables, like for example these products okay can be like material. Okay, so material table again, and the next one would be like a salesperson. Okay, like who will be selling that particular products. Okay, so like this it would be connected in turn these products are connected to the material, and again these products are again connected to the salesperson. So like this, what happens is a fact table surrounded by the various dimensional tables, and in turn they are surrounded by the various other dimensional tables. Okay, this is what called as a snowflake schema. Roy, did you get this? So the product is there, the product is again connected to material, and the product is again connected to the salesperson as a dimensional table. So like this, good question. See, for example, as I already said you, like good example. As I already said you, like see the each table okay should be having the primary key okay to the fact table. As these for example the material is there, the material is not directly related to the sales. Okay, so it is related to the products. Okay, and this is having a primary key which can be connected to the product only, not for the sales. Okay, so that's why most of the whatever the dimensional tables are there here, okay, So the fact table must be in the middle, surrounded by the various dimensional tables which are directly linked to that particular sales. So there might not be all the time the tables, okay, which are directly linked to the fact table. So then at that time we are going to link or join them to the various other dimensional tables over here. Okay. No, no, we are having, we are not looking into the material, this thing, okay. I'm looking into the products sold, okay. So the product sold will be directly connected. The product sold will be like directly connected to the sales, whereas materials which are like the raw material, okay, like you can have the things like the different raw materials, okay, or like half finished or semi-finished materials, so like this. So that would be joined to the products. Okay, so these does not consist of any particular measures. These would be consisting of only the dimensions only. No measures will be there in these particular tables. Okay. So this is how we are working with the snowflake schemas. Okay, next fact constellation schema is two fact tables. More than one fact table would be this, surrounded by the various dimensional tables. Okay, that is called as a fact constellation schema. So after this particular schemas, okay, we are very much aware how we are maintaining the data in the data warehouse. Okay, and how the data would be available in the data warehouse. Okay, so I'll just have a quick review. So the data which would be getting from means whatever the relevant data is there, that relevant data would be bought from the various databases and put them into one particular place. That is what called as a data warehouse. So in the data warehouse also we'll be having tables. So these particular tables are linked up or joined up together by following certain schemas over here. Okay, so by which what happen is I can generate the I can analyze these particular data very easily. I can generate the reports very easily, okay, by using the data which is in the data warehouse rather than the data which is available in the the operational databases. Okay, so this is all about the data warehousing. So any doubts in this, you could just ask me. Anushka, Matthew, Roy, any doubts in these things, you can just ask me. Like, why? Because we are just continuing with the, after this one we are going into what is an ETL tool and what is a business, actual business objects, we are going into that. Okay, so that's why if you have any doubts in all these data warehousing concepts, you can just ask me. Yeah. So now I'm just concentrating on the ETL part now. Why? Because as I'm a business intelligence guy, okay, so obviously, okay, I don't want to go ahead with the data warehousing concepts and all these things. Okay, I just want to be, you know, a step ahead with the business intelligence. So first of all, let's go to then the architecture of the data warehouse over here, where you are using an ETL tool. The ETL tool here, okay, would be extracting the data, transform the data, and load the relevant data into the data warehouse that could be used for the reporting, for the analysis, and for the data mining purpose. Okay, so this ETL tool, okay, could be anything. Okay, there are many ETL tools over here. The job of the ETL tool is to extract, transform, and load the data from any number of databases into one particular data warehouse. Okay, that is what called as an ETL tool. Okay, so it reads the data from various databases, okay, and transforms the data according to our requirement by applying certain okay, transformations like calculations, aggregations, certain transformation rules can be applied on that particular data to get the data uh, which would be very easy for us to understand. So such kind of data would be transformed, and that is loaded into the target databases. Target databases here is the data warehouse. So I extract the data from various databases, transform the data by applying certain rules on that particular data, and transform that particular data in such a way like I can understand very easily and load it into the target databases or the data warehouse. This is what called as an the ETL tool. The function of the ETL tool is that. Okay, and here are the few ETL tools which we have in the market. So like a business objects data integrator, okay, informatica power center, okay, and coming to the SAP, okay, it's like a business intelligence is a ETL tool which can be used. Okay, so like this we are having many ETL tools which are available in the market. Okay, so next comes the what is the business objects. Okay, SAP BI is an ETL tool. SAP BI is an ETL tool actually. Okay, SAP BI is itself an ETL tool. Okay, which would be helping us to extract data, transform, and load into the data warehouse. Coming to the SAP terms over here. Okay, when you are working with the SAP terms, I would like to tell you this thing. Like, for example, okay, I'm having like SAP ECC system, okay, over here, which is consisting of the various data. Okay, if I'm having like SAP ECC system, like it would be having many modules. Like for example, we have certain functional modules like material management, okay, sales and distribution, okay, FICO, okay, like this we are having n number of modules. So each particular module would be having certain tables available over here in this. Okay, so if I want to get the data from these particular different modules, so what I do is I extract the data, transform the data, and load okay, the data by using the SAP Business Intelligence. Okay, that is an ETL tool. BI is acting as an ETL tool, and finally the data would be loaded into the data would be loaded into the SAP BW system. Okay, so what is a BW? How the data warehouse is there? In the terms of SAP, we call it as a business warehouse. Okay, so we are having like SAP system. So we extract our relevant data from these SAP systems into the business warehouse by using the business intelligence as a reporting tool. Okay, so after I get the relevant data in this particular business warehouse, so by using this particular data, I will be generating the reports. I can generate the reports, I can analyze it, okay, and I also go for the data mining. So this, whatever I have shown here, the architecture of the data warehouse, okay, this is a most what you call like the generalized structure of the like of making the reports. But when it comes to the technology over here, when I come to the SAP as a technology, okay, so in the SAP these are the terminology which we use. Okay, so BI is an ETL tool, and like after extracting the data, transform the data, load the data with by using the BI, it loads the data into the BW, and from the BW I take the data in order to generate the reports. So I get the data into the business objects in order to generate the reports. Okay, so this is an architecture when it comes to the SAP environment. Okay, any doubts still here? Guys, any doubts? We'll just concentrate on these particular terminology again. Okay, after we complete the basic things like what is business objects and all these things, we'll just come back to these particular terminology again. Okay, so here the business objects. So we are looking into the business objects now. Okay, we are actually having an SAP business objects demo, so we are looking into the business objects now. So what is this particular business objects and what does it do? Okay, so business objects is basically, so let's go into the brief history of the business objects first. Okay, so we are going to look into three different things here. One would be the history of the business objects. Okay, second one would be the roadmap to the business objects. Okay, business objects. The third one would be like various components okay, in the business objects. So these are the three things we are going to see from now. The first one is like history of the business objects. As I already said you, like business objects is a reporting tool. Okay, it's only the reporting tool. It does not take care of any particular ETL part, nothing, data warehousing part, nothing it takes care of. It take care only the business, the reporting part. So business objects is completely a reporting tool. Okay, it's basically the you can call it as it's actually a French company which was established in 1992. The company name, the organization name itself is a business objects, okay, which was a French company which was established in 1992. In 1992 they have released, okay, only one component with the business objects. Okay, but as the year went on, okay, as the years went on, in 2000 they have actually released a fully loaded business objects reporting tool into the market. Okay, so these particular reporting tools would be helping us to generate the reports. Okay, so now in 2000 it has been fully loaded business objects reporting tool was released into the market. From 2000 onwards, okay, from 2000 onwards, the fate of the reporting tool has been completely changed up. Okay, so this business objects has given a huge competition to already the emerging reporting tools like Cognos, OBIE, and there are many reporting tools which were already there in the market. So, but this particular business objects has given a huge competition to almost all the existing reporting tools with three major advantages. Okay, the first one is like, the first advantage is like look and the feel. The second is like user friendly. The third one is like securities, high securities. So these are the three advantages, or these are the three factors, okay, which made the business objects to be completely different from other reporting tools. Okay, so you may be asking, like, first two factors, every reporting tool would be having this, the look and the feel and user friendly nature, every reporting tool would be having this. But coming to the high securities, okay, coming to the high securities has made the difference between the business objects and the other reporting tools. Okay, business objects would be offering the high securities. It gives a high security to the data, okay, which can satisfy the each and every user. See, few users can be the basic users, few users can be the standard users. So these particular high securities, when I put on the data, I can basically satisfy all the categories of the users can be satisfied by this particular high securities. Okay, so each and every user would be getting their relevant data into the report when I apply these particular securities onto the reports. So this particular high securities factor has made the difference between the business objects as a reporting tool and the other reporting tools. Okay, so from 2000, most like 65% of the market has been occupied by the business objects. So looking into the market value of the business objects, okay, and looking in the advancements of the business objects, what SAP SAP has done is SAP has taken up the business objects into its entity in 2007. So from 2007 it's called as an SAP business SAP business objects rather than the business objects. Okay, so now we are going to look into what are the versions which has been released by the business objects. The first version which has been released is business objects 5.0 is the first version which has been released. Next, business object 6.x is a version which has been released. So after SAP has taken up the business objects, then the version which is released is BOXI-R2. Okay, in short we call it as BOXI R2, Business Objects Exchange Infrastructure Release 2. Okay, this is a full form of BOXI R2. Okay, next version is BOXI R3 is a version which was released in 2008. Okay, next one is the latest version which has been released in the 2011, that is we call it as BO 4.0. So these are the various versions which has been released by business objects. These are the two versions which has been released before the SAP has taken. These are the three things, okay, three versions which has been released after the business objects has been taken up by SAP. Okay, you may be getting a doubt, okay, like what was a reporting tool, okay, prior to business objects with SAP. So SAP used to use Business Explorer as a reporting tool. In short, we call it as a BEX. Okay, the full form is Business Explorer. Okay, Business Explorer is a reporting tool, okay, which was used prior to the business objects by SAP. Okay, as a Business Explorer has many disadvantages when compared to business objects. They have just removed the BEX. Okay, they have just removed the BEX and they have taken the business objects into their entity. Okay, so this is all about the history of the business objects. Okay, the next thing is, okay, let's go and discuss about, I was telling you from the starting, like business objects is a reporting tool. It's a reporting tool. It would be helping us to generate the reports. So first of all, what are these particular reports? Like, do you guys have any idea about the reports? What does the reports do basically? Okay. So basically the reports would be giving us, means it would be representing the data in an analytical way. Okay, so such kind of representation is what called as a report, by which the user can take the decisions very easily. Okay, so the data would be represented in an analytical way that could be analyzed and the user can take the decisions very easily. So such kind of data representation is what called as a reports. Data representation is what called as a reports. So we are having, okay, the n number of reports are there, like financial reports are there, okay, like the aggregate reports would be there. So like this, you know, sales reports are there. Like this, we are having n number of reports would be there, and these all reports would be generated by using a tool called as a reporting tool. Here we are using the business objects as a reporting tool. Okay, by these particular reports, the user can take the decisions very instantaneously without wasting his time. Okay, and without any stress, he can take the decisions very instantaneously in order to develop his business. Okay, so he can take the important decisions very easily. So previously also, when there is no globalization, or when there are no reporting tools at all, okay, they used to generate the reports, okay, but okay, generating of the report would be taking most of the time, okay, and the decision taking also would be taking most of the time. So like lots of time would be wasted in generating the reports and taking the decisions. So in order to lessen this time, okay, this time factor here, so what we have done is after the globalization, okay, they have made some reporting tools in the business objects is number one in the market that would be generating the reports. Okay, so this is all about the reports. And reports not only used for the decision making, it also used for the forecasting. What do you mean by the forecasting? Like taking the present situations and the past situations into consideration. I want to take the decisions for the future. Those are called as forecasting. So such kind of reports can also be generated by the reporting tools. Okay, so this is all about the reports and the reporting tool. So any doubts still here? Okay, now let's go to the roadmap of the business objects. Okay, in an organization, when you step into organization, as these particular reports are driving your business, so these reports in the terms of business is called as a business drivers, Okay, so the business drivers are nothing but the reports only. In the terms of business, we call it as a business drivers, which will be driving our business. Okay, the examples of the reports are called as, okay, the examples of the reports are called as a sales. Okay, it's called as a sales report. Okay, next one would be the what you call like financial reports. Okay, or you can also take a simple example like balance sheets. Okay, balance sheets, income statement. Okay, so all these are the examples of the reports. Okay, all these are the examples of the reports. So in order to achieve these particular reports, okay, in order to achieve the business driver, or in order to generate these particular reports, we need to have certain tools. Okay, so those tools are only called as BI tools. Okay, so what are the various reporting tools we use in the business objects to generate the reports? Okay, those reporting tools we are going to see now. The first one is called as an WebI. WebI stands for Web Intelligence Reporting Tool. I stands for intelligence here, Web Intelligence Reporting Tool. The second one is called as a Desktop Intelligence Reporting Tool. In short, we call it as DESKI. The full form is Desktop Intelligence Reporting Tool. Then next one would be like Web Intelligence Rich Client. Okay, Rich Client. This is also one of the reporting tools. So the next tool is the Crystal Reports. Okay, is one of the tool. Next one is the Dashboard Creator. Okay, Dashboard Creator. Okay, so these are all the tools. Okay, these are all the tools which we use. Okay, these are all the tools which we use basically in order to generate the reports or to fulfill the business driver, or to achieve the business drivers. We are using these particular tools. These are all the tools which we use in the business objects. So when to use what kind of tool, okay, that we are discussing, okay, after a few minutes. Okay, so first of all, okay, our aim is to achieve the business driver. To achieve the business driver, we need to have the BI tools. Okay, so we have a tool, we have the driver, like the reports that has to be done. So what is required now? The data is required. Okay, from where I am getting the data, that is important. So these particular BI tools, okay, would be accessing the data from where? Okay, that stage is what called as an information access. So all these particular reporting tools can access the data, okay, can access the data either directly or indirectly from the info providers. Okay, we call it as an information providers. We call them as an information providers. So all these particular reporting tools can access the data directly or indirectly from the information providers. Your information providers can be your data warehouse, or you can call it as a business warehouse also. So the information providers could be the data warehouse or the business warehouse. So from these particular data warehouse or business warehouse, these reporting tools would be accessing the data directly or indirectly in order to generate the reports. Okay, so this is a flow, okay, of the data. So in this particular roadmap, I am trying to teach you how the data is reaching from the source to the reports. Okay, so that's what we are trying to elevate here. Okay, so how the information providers are made. Information providers are made from the data providers. Data providers are nothing but your databases, like okay, SQL database, okay, Access database, okay, Teradata. Okay, so like this we are having n number of data providers. So after running an ETL tool, so on this particular data providers, I get the data in the form of information providers in the data warehouse or in the business warehouse. From here, the data could be accessed directly or indirectly by the various reporting tools in order to generate the reports. Okay, so this is a flow of the data, how it goes from the data providers into the reports. Okay, any doubts till here? You could just ask me. Hello guys, any doubts till here? You could just ask me. Okay, till now we have concentrated, okay, in our like few minutes back we are concentrating on this particular part called as information providers. Okay, why? Because this is very important, okay, in order to generate the reports. This part is very important, so that's why I'm just trying to teach the basics of this particular data warehouse or the business warehouse. Okay, so the outline of this is very simple. Okay, we are having few databases. So after running an ETL tool, I get my relevant data into the data warehouse or the business warehouse. So this from here, the data can be accessed directly or indirectly. I put them into the reports using these particular reporting tools. That's all. Very simple. Okay, so this is a flow of data from the databases into the reports. Okay, so now you may be having a doubt like, okay, what is this direct process and the indirect process? Okay, so direct way is nothing but, okay, these particular reporting tools, whatever the reporting tools are here, these particular reporting tools can directly be attached to this particular information providers and directly integrated to these particular data warehouse or business warehouse in order to get the data into the reports. That is a direct way. Okay, but coming to the indirect way, so direct way is nothing but directly integrating with the business warehouse. There is no problem in that. But coming to the indirect way, what do you mean by indirect way here? So the indirect way is nothing but, okay, I am creating a middle layer over here. Okay, so in order to get the access to the data which is in the business warehouse or the data warehouse, so indirectly I'm accessing the data by using some layer. Okay, that particular layer is what called as a semantic layer. Okay, semantic layer. What does the semantic layer do? Semantic layer is nothing but it's a logical representation of a data. Means, for example, I want to generate the sales report. So in the data warehouse, I am having a sales data. So that particular sales data which is necessary for my report, so that will be brought into the semantic layer. Okay, so semantic layer is nothing but it's a middle layer, okay, between the data warehouse and the reports. Okay, it's a simple middle layer, okay, which would be helping the users to generate the reports very easily. Okay, so such kind of layer is what called as a semantic layer. Okay, see here, I'll tell you a simple example. For example, I'm having a database, okay, with something called as a thousand tables. Okay, I want to generate a sales reports. Okay, so these reports would be generated by the end user, obviously. So does the end user know about the databases? Does he have knowledge about the databases and the available tables in that particular databases? No, he don't have any knowledge. So what happens is, okay, in order to get a connection between the end user and the database, as a business objects consultant, what I am trying to do is I'm trying to make a middle layer over here. Okay, that is what called as a universe. Okay, that is what called as universe. This universe would be having the relevant data. In this 1,000 tables, let's take 200 tables are sales data. So I would be making one metadata layer over here on the business objects platform, okay, with those particular 200 tables, and using this particular universe I can generate the reports very easily. So the end users, instead of using the database as their source, they are using the universe as their source in order to generate the reports, Okay, so this is what called as a universe. Universe is nothing but it's a semantic layer or the middle layer, okay, that would be helping the end user to generate the reports very easily. That would be helping the end user to get the relevant data available in that particular layer. Okay, that is what called as an universe. Okay, so from this particular 1,000 tables, I get my relevant tables into the universe. Universe, again I'm telling you, universe does not hold any physical data. It is just the logical representation of the data. So the universe is nothing but it's a semantic layer, the replica of the database. So here in the database we are having tables, there also we are having tables. So it's just a replica of the database. It's a logical representation of the data, which is a replica of the database, that is which is similar to the database, that could be the source for the reporting tools in order to generate the reports. So making of the universe is mandatory, okay, as a business objects consultant. Why? Because I have to get the relevant data onto my business objects platform. So this is the only one layer, okay, that would be helping us, okay, to get the relevant data onto the business objects layer, and then I can generate the reports using this particular universe as a data source. Okay, so the definition of the universe is like this. Universe is a semantic layer or the middle layer or the metadata layer, okay, which is the replica of the database and which logically holds the data that would be helping the end users to generate the reports very easily. See, rather than accessing 1,000 tables, okay, the relevant data is 200 tables. So those 200 tables I'm getting into the universe, okay, and trying to access this universe as my data source in order to generate the reports. So as a business objects consultant, my first goal is to, our first role is to make the universe. Okay, after making the universe only we are going to generate the reports. So any doubts still here? You could just ask me. Yeah, of course, that's the idea, right? It's not for one universe, is not for one report. I can generate n number of reports for one particular universe. That's what, as I said you, like by this time you might have understood, like whatever the report requirement is there, all that particular data I'll be pulling into the universe, okay, on the business objects platform. Then I would be generating the reports. So that is very easy, right? I can generate n number of reports. Of course, it can use a multiple data sources. A simple thing I'll tell you. I have a sales report, I have a customer report. I want to see my, I have a customer sales universe, I have a customer universe. Okay, I want to see now the how much, what are the spendings of the customers, okay, on a particular product. So at that particular time I have to access both the universes. Okay, one universe can have n number of reports. Okay, one report can get the data from the multiple universes also, vice versa. Okay, so one thing you have to understand here, like multiple, like one data warehouse, okay, can have multiple universes, multiple universes, multiple. So each universe can have multiple reports. So this is how it goes on. A data warehouse can have multiple universes, so each universe can have the multiple reports. Okay, yeah, you can, you can. That's the main idea, right? Yes, you can make the aggregations, you can make the calculations, aggregations or calculations, you can apply the conditions according to my report requirement. Why? Because see, I want to satisfy the users here. See, take an example, 4 level of users. Let's take an example of 4 level of users. One is like the normal user, okay, one is your for example your team leader, a simple example I am telling, okay, and next one is your project manager, next one is your business development manager. So these are like four different users are there. So I want to satisfy all the 4 different users. Okay, so in order to satisfy all the 4 different users, okay, so the data is different now. The user wants one kind of data, one level of data, team leader wants the other level of data, project manager wants the other level of data, business development manager requires the other level of data. So I want to satisfy all these particular 4 users now. Okay, so in order to satisfy all the 4 different users, so obviously I need to get the data, like whatever the relevant data is there, I can get it into the universe, and by applying certain conditions, okay, I can satisfy all the users. I cannot generate one report and ask the user, this is your report, you please what you call like get satisfied with it. No, I want to satisfy the all the users now. In order to satisfy all the users, so what I can do is I can put some conditions and cut down the data which is not important to the other user and which is important to one user, which that may not be important to the other user. So I can apply certain conditions and cut down the data. Of course, you can put the aggregation. That's what is a deal in that? What may be a deal in that? Yes, you can put the aggregation. That's not a problem. See, this is in the databases. There may be one level of aggregation. In the reporting part, the user wants a one level of aggregation. A simple thing. See, you have a sales revenue. Okay, sales revenue generated. Okay, you have an what you call like the data in your database, sales revenue generated, but in my report I want to see like sales revenue generated per quantity sold. Okay, at that time, that is one aggregation there and this is one aggregation here. So the calculations can be like made like that. Okay, so it's not like, see, I can make the calculations at the data warehouse level. Okay, and I can also make the calculations at the universe level. Okay, but we have to look into the performance also. Okay, so that's why what we do is like, okay, we put the aggregations at the what you call like data warehouse level rather than the universe in order to get the better performance. That's it. Okay, it's not like I cannot put the aggregations on both the sides. I can put the aggregations on both the ways. Okay, but in order to get a better performance, okay, we suggest to put the aggregations only at the data warehouse level rather than the universe level. That is the thing. Got my point, Roy? Yeah. Okay, so this is what called as a universe, and these are the reports. So these are the various reporting tools which we have here. I think you got an idea of the universe. Okay, so this is what the universe is. See, I'm having a database over here. Okay, so this is a data warehouse. Okay, this is a data warehouse which is having all the data. Like, see, from the database, whatever the required data is there, I pull only that particular data into the universe. So this is what called as universe, where you have the purchase order data, inventory data, management data. So all these, all the material data, all the data would be available here. Means whatever the required data is there, I pull that particular required data and put at one particular place. That is what called as a universe. This universe would be on the business objects platform. Okay, so from the universe I can easily generate the reports. Okay, so this is what called as a universe. So you can see here. Okay, I'm having a various database or data warehouse or the data marts. Okay, so I have to generate the universe on the business objects environment. So by using this universe, I can generate the various reports like crystal reports, web intelligence reports, okay, like Excel sheets, dashboards, or can be the explorer. So I can make all these particular reports generated from this particular universe. Okay, so this is the entire architecture. So we are having this data warehouse or the data marts or the databases. So from here I am getting a relevant data according to my report requirement onto the business objects platform. That is what called as an universe. So using this universe I can generate the n number of reports. Okay, so now, so coming to this Webby, Desky, Web Intelligence, these three report. Now I am going to discuss like what are the which reporting tool is used for what purpose. So coming to the Webby, Desky, Webby Rich Client, these are the three reporting tools which comes with the business objects, which will be coming with the business objects. Okay, it's a package. Okay, with the business objects you would be getting these three reporting tools. And these three reporting tools must require the universe for sure. Okay, these three reporting tools must require the universe for sure. Okay, and one more thing is, these are the reporting tools which would be helping us to generate the ad hoc reports. So what do you mean by ad hoc reports here? Ad hoc reports in the sense the reports which can be made dynamically, okay, without any structure, without any format. So just drag and drop the objects in order to generate the reports. So such kind of reports are called as ad hoc reports. So dynamically generated reports are called as ad hoc reports. So such kind of reports could be generated by using these reporting tools. Okay, so if you could see here, okay, the Webby reporting tools, okay, Desky and Web Intelligence Rich Client, okay, these requires the universe for sure. This requires the universe for sure. Without the universe, I cannot generate these particular reports. Okay, so that is the thing. And coming to the other crystal reports and the dashboards, these two are the reporting tools. Okay, so first of all, let's go and discuss about the crystal reports. Crystal reports is a type of reporting tool, okay, which would be having a certain structure has to be followed, a certain format has to be followed over here, okay, in order to generate the crystal report. First of all, the designing is very important. As the name itself says, like crystal reports, okay, it's like a pixel, it will be helping us to generate the pixel clear reports that would be using a best structure. A good formatting is required in order to generate such kind of reports. Okay, so these particular crystal reports can use the universe as an data source, or it can also use or it can directly get the data from the data warehouse. Okay, so that's what is seen here. See, the crystal reports can get the data from the universe, or it can also get the data directly from the data warehouse. That is the compatibility of the crystal reports. Okay, So now coming to the Excel sheets or the dashboards. What are these dashboards? Dashboards are nothing but the pictographic. Reports are nothing but the representing the data in the tabular format is what called as a reports. Whereas dashboards are nothing but it's a pictographic representation. It's a pictographic representation of the data. Means the data would be represented in the form of a pictures like pie charts, column charts, bar charts. Okay, so like this the data would be represented in the form of the pictures. Okay, so that's what is called as a dashboards. Okay, like you might be seeing cricket. Okay, when you are seeing cricket, they put a run rate chart. That is what called as a dashboard. A scoreboard will be shown to us, okay, with a ground and the balls, sixes, and all these things. So that is one type of representation of a data in the form of a pictures. So all these things, okay, all these particular representation of a data in the form of a pictures is what called as a dashboards. And in order to create these dashboards, one tool we used to use is the Excel sheets. Excel sheets is just the tool, okay, which is used to create the dashboards in the previous version, not now. Okay, now whatever the tool we are using is called as a dashboard creator, okay, not the Excel sheets. Okay, so this Excel sheets can get the data from the universe, okay, can get the data from the universe by using, okay, certain tools called as query as a web service, okay, or the web service. Okay, these are the two tools, okay, which would be used in order to get the data from the universe into the Excel sheets or the dashboards. Okay, so these are the various tools which we are using. So any doubts in this, you could just ask me. I'll just try to revise it once again. Webby, Desky, Web Intelligence, Rich Client, these are the three reporting tools which come with the business objects. These are the business objects reporting tools, and these three tools will be helping us to generate the ad hoc reports. And these three reporting tools must have the universe for sure. Without universe, I cannot generate the reports. Next one is a crystal reports. Crystal reports is a kind of reporting tool which would be helping us to generate a well structured, well formatted report. So that's why most of the financial reports would be generated by using these crystal reports only. Okay, so these can get the data from the universe, or it can also get the data from directly from the data source. That's what I wrote here is a direct process. Okay, crystal reports can directly get the data from the data warehouse or indirectly also from the universe. There are two ways. Next one is a dashboard creator, which would be helping us to represent the data in the form of a pictures. Those are called as dashboards. So these dashboards can get the data from the universe. Okay, so this is all about the various reporting tools which we use in the business objects. These are all the flavors, okay, which we use in the business objects. Means according to our report requirement, according to our user, according to the manpower we are having at our organization, we have to go and select what type of reporting tool has to be used. Okay, so you no need to bother. They will be telling you what a reporting tool has to be used. Okay. So this is all about the reporting tools. Okay. So we are going to cover, okay, in our later sections, okay, we are going to cover, first one is the universe. Okay, as I already said you. Okay, and one more thing before going to that, I want to tell you one thing. So I'm going to cover, okay, both the 3.1 version and 4.0 version, both the things, 3.1 as well as 4.0. Concepts wise both are same. There is one big difference between the two versions. Okay, so I'll be covering 3.1 as well as 4.0, or if you want, I want to go with 4.0, as obviously we can directly go with the 4.0. That's not a problem. Okay, 4.0, first of all, I'll be covering the Universe Designer tool. In short, you call it as an UDT. Next one is like, okay, Information Design Tool. Information Design Tool. Okay, so in short, we call it as an IDT. This is the second tool which we are covering. And next one is like the various reporting tools. Okay, like Web Intelligence Rich Client. Okay, and the next one would be the web intelligence reporting tool. Okay, in 4.0 there is no Dusky end of life. Okay, there is no Dusky in the 4.0. Next one would be like Crystal Reports 2011. Okay, and the next one is like Crystal Reports for the enterprise version. So these are the things which we are going to cover, and the dashboards. These are the major topics we are going to cover. Apart from this, I am also going to cover few things like the BI Launchpad. Next one is the Upgrade Management Tool. And life cycle management. So these are the tools which we are going to cover in our business objects. So as I said, you like Universe, we are using to create the Universe, I am using the UDT, Universe Designer tool. So the next one is like IDT. This is also a tool which is used to create the Universe. Okay. So the next one is like Web Intelligence, which client is a reporting tool. Web Intelligence is also a reporting tool. Yes, I do cover. Okay, next one is like Crystal Reports 2011 and Crystal Reports for enterprise version. Next one dashboards, and next one is BA Launchpad. See, the BA Launchpad is nothing but you, after creating the reports, you need to deploy the reports. So how to deploy the reports, that would be said in the BA Launchpad. How to send the reports to the user. While sending the reports to the user, okay, what is your user requirement, what data must be there in the report. So if there is a excess data, how to cut down that particular data, and how to schedule the reports. Schedule the reports in the sense, see, you want the reports to be running, okay, today at 2 a.m. in the morning. Okay, so I cannot sit on the system and try to schedule the report. So I will be scheduling it prior. Okay, so that particular scheduling and publishing of these particular reports would be done in the BA Launchpad. Next one is the Upgrade Management Tool. So what do you mean by Upgrade Management Tool? Upgrade Management Tool is like when you are migrating the things from one version to other version, you are using this particular UMT, that is Upgrade Management Tool. Okay, like for example, you want to migrate the data from 3.1 to 4 or 4 to 4.1. So in order to migrate the data, we need to use certain tools. So this is a tool which we use. Next one is a life cycle management. See, every organization or every application has 3 environments, that is development, testing, and production. So these 3 would be there: development, testing, and the production. These 3 things would be there. Okay, so every reporting tool would be, every report, every universe, every application we develop will be undergoing these 3 environments. So how to bring the data from one, how to transfer the data from one environment to other environment would be told by this particular lifecycle management tool. So using this tool, LCM, as a tool, we are going to migrate the applications from one particular environment to other environment. That is what we are using. That is why we are using the LCM. So these are all the tools which we are going to cover. These you can call them as a client tools. Okay, so the user tools, client tools, these are the tools. And next, coming to the administration part, okay, we are going to see like CMC, that is Central Management Console. Okay, CMS, Central Management Server, and next one is CCM, Central Configuration Manager. So all these 3 are the administrative tools. Okay, in which we are going to cover most of the part of CMC. That is how to create the users. Means I am going to cover the administration part that would be very much useful as a developer. So those things I am going to cover, like creating the users, creating the user profiles. Okay, like next one is like creating the events, creating a calendar. So all these things would be done in the CMC. Okay, so those things I'm going to cover, and I give a brief idea about the CMS and the CCM. That's not a problem. So these are all the things which we are going to cover in our 30 days course content. 35 hours duration, we are going to cover all these topics. So any other doubts in this, you could just ask me. Central management server. CMS is a central management server. No, central management server is it's a like where your everything, the applications would be stored. That's called as CMS, repository. You can in normal words you can call it as a repository. Repository is a place where you save the developed and the developing objects would be saved. Okay, that's what is called as a repository. That is nothing but CMS. See, first we will be covering up the web intelligence rich client, okay, and simultaneously Webby. Why? Because web intelligence rich client and the Webby, both the look wise and the concepts wise, both are same. Okay, there are the minor differences, so I'll be covering those particular minor differences and go with the web intelligence rich client as a tool. Why? Because nowadays everyone are using the web intelligence rich client as a tool. Why? Because it's basically a client-based tool and can work when the networks are not available also. So that's why they are going for this kind of tool. So I'll be covering the web intelligence rich client first, and then the crystal reports, and then the dashboards. Yeah, of course. I see. Like myself, I have created some 9 scenarios. Okay, some 9 dashboard scenarios in which we are using in which I am using the day-to-day tools which we use regularly, like column charts, stacked column chart, like filters, okay, and combo boxes. Okay, next one is line chart, OHLC chart, candlestick charts. Okay, next one is tabs. Okay, so like this, I have made some 8 to 9 scenarios. Okay, I can teach you those particular 9 scenarios. Okay, that would be much more enough, which consists of a complex dashboards also. Yeah, of course. See, after explaining those particular 8 to 9 scenarios, of course, you have a I'll take some examples of my requirement and ask make the dashboards. Okay, the whatever the 8 scenarios I tell you, okay, those are very good. Okay, which would be having everything, like we use the radio buttons, okay, interaction between the dashboards, okay, so everything would be there in that 9 scenarios. Okay, I'll explain you those, and after that we can take a requirement from the report and we can create the dashboard on that particular reports also. Yeah, of course, we take a requirement and go for the report. First we'll be teaching the basics. Okay, what are the functions available in there? Okay, so how each and every function would be done. So all these things we are going to, I'm going to explain you first a few days, and then we can go for the scenarios. I'll take some live scenario and explain you how to work with that particular live scenario. I think like you can speak with Amit, okay, or Kapil. you can speak to them about the details, the time and the days. Days are like it's like 30 hours, okay, 1 hour per day, okay, that depends, like 1 hour or 2 hours per day, that depends. Okay, if it's like 1 hour per day, we can complete it in 30 days. If it's like 2 hours per day, I can complete it in very few days, like 20 days, like that. So actually we need to check our all our flexible timings, and then we can fix some time and get back. Anushka, you can speak to Amit about this topic. Okay, I'm not related actually. You can speak to Amit or Kapil about this particular topic, like individually or in a group. So how do you prefer? According to that, they can fix the timings. Yeah, hi Kapil. Yeah, thank you.